you were to move, let's say I jump in your truck, yeah?
Yeah.
And I'm flying the drone and we're moving down the highway, you could really push them out a long ways.
Yeah.
It could technically fly probably, a dozen kilometers.
Welcome to the Wilderness Wavelength Podcast.
This is another episode of the Wilderness Wavelength Podcast. Welcome to it. This is George, co-host Scott Sunderwald.
It's always great to be here, George.
Welcome. Yeah, why don't you intro our guest for tonight?
Yeah, we always have special guests. We got an extra special guest here tonight, the president of the Hinton Search and Rescue. So a bit of background on Dave Dower. He's a second-generation police officer born and raised in northeastern Ontario. He started his policing career in Lac-La-Biche in 2015. He's been in Hinton for the last 5.5 years and climbed to the rank of corporal. He's been with Hinton Search and Rescue for quite a while and helped them get some new divisions, including drones, mounted search and rescue, that's horses for you non-horse folk, and in the summer of 2025, the team gained an off-highway vehicle division, so we're going to tap into some of that. He loves OHV riding, camping, hiking with dogs, and the latest is that there are 70 confirmed attendees with the Hinton Search and Rescue, specializing in search dogs, mounted patrol, mounted search and rescue, and even high-angle rescue, which is really cool. We want to definitely hear about that. So welcome, Dave. That's great. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, both of you. It's my first time doing a podcast, so bear with me.
Yeah.
But incredibly honored to be invited tonight and to talk more about Hinton Search and Rescue and what we do here in Hinton and the surrounding area.
Yeah. This weekend, so I guess like August 16th, 17th weekend, you guys are doing a big event, Black Cat Ranch?
Yeah, that's correct. So we've been doing a yearly mock search where it's kind of like a meeting of the minds. Our goal is to kind of have a planning committee. The planning committee gets together, comes up with a bunch of different scenarios.
Yeah.
Some that are kind of relevant to either something that Hinton SARs experienced, or we tap into a little bit of the RCMP world, where we'll have some files from that, whether it be Northern Alberta, Southern Alberta, Central Alberta, etc., and just kind of play around. And I call it the meeting of the minds because we try to bring a combination of search and rescue teams from all over Alberta and pair them up with various partner agencies. So that'd be the RCMP, Alberta Fish and Wildlife, Alberta conservation officers, lands, parks. And this year we're actually going to have some Alberta sheriffs. They're going to be casualties, and some of them are actually team members.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, just trying to incorporate them in that, and just have some fun. At the end of the day, like it's a training event. We try to ramp it up to be as serious as it can, but thankfully there's no one actually injured. So make the mistakes there, and take those teaching points back to your home teams, and be better prepared for the next one. So.
Can you give us inside scoop on some of the scenarios that are happening?
There's definitely going to be some individuals that have fallen from some decent heights.
Yeah.
Just to incorporate the high angle rescue this year, there's going to be some individuals that are lost, individuals that have been impaled with certain objects. That'll be a medical aspect to try to challenge the teams, not just a simple slap a Band-Aid on it and get them to walk out.
Yeah.
It'll be probably more serious in the sense that they're not essentially able to move. So you have to pick them up, put them on a gurney, stretcher, or whatnot, and really get them out of that scenario or of that area. And it'll be interesting to see how the teams tackle those challenging areas, because it's not something as easy as just a walk down,
just walk it off, just
one of the streets or whatever, and someone's injured 15 feet from the Highway 16. You could just walk an ambulance over, throw them into the ambulance, and then go. It's definitely going to be more challenging. People will start to have to really think about what to do.
Yeah, it's interesting. I moved here over 20 years ago, and I used to work in the North Shore Mountains in Vancouver and taught winter survival, and it was classic up in the mountains there that people would go on a day trip hiking from Vancouver and never return because you got 500 kilometers of wilderness out your back door. So when I moved here, I thought, oh my goodness, this must be exactly the same. But yet it's a kind of a different scenario, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. From what I've heard in my last 20 years here, a lot of people get in trouble more with the mountain situation. We've had people getting lost scrambling or injured scrambling, or falls are big. The river, the Athabasca River, has definitely taken some people. But sort of the lost hunter, not saying it doesn't happen, but it's not as big an issue as I thought it would be. What are most of the type of scenarios that you guys run into and people should be aware of here?
The sand dunes is a big one. The sand dunes, shifting sand. You have a lot of banks with peaks, and then people think that there's going to be a flat portion on the other side. Unfortunately, it's usually a pretty steep drop, and that's usually when you see broken femurs, have broken arms. We've even had a fatality in my time here in Hinton. So it's that would be one area. Certainly sheep hunting. We've had some calls, only one specifically down in Catamount. The Garmin InReaches are fantastic. I have one for work. I carry it around for camping, quadding, hunting, or even on patrol. It's great to be able to reach out and touch somebody when you need to, especially because the radios can be really spotty. Cell phone, as you guys know, in the backcountry doesn't work at all. It's nice to be able to have the new feature for iPhone 16 and up. Have that
the text to satellite.
So that is great, which is nice, but unfortunately it doesn't give you your location. But the Garmin InReach does, and there is of course different competitors. SpotX is another one. They come on sale regularly at Cabela's. I always encourage people to get those whenever you're going out. When you hit the SOS button, it goes right to our comm center, and it's nice to have a pin drop of a meter radius instead of what we were used to, which is typically like 4, 5, 6, 12 kilometer radius. 12 kilometers in every direction from a pin, and it's usually a cell phone tower, unfortunately. That it's a nightmarish to try to ascertain where that person is. But with Garmin InReach, fantastic. And it's just cheap. It's $15 a month.
It seems to be the way to go. One of the things I found, hunting the back roads, and George, you've probably experienced this too. Hinton has all of the back roads. Every kilometer is marked back to Hinton. So, you're out at whatever, kilometer 83.
That's my hunting spot, Scott.
Oh, I know. That's why I bring it up. But, you get stuck in a snowstorm or the fog, and that's happened to me. And you go the wrong way, and suddenly you see 84, and I'm heading the wrong way. So even if you don't have, the latest GPS technology, you can sort of track back. And I bet you that has saved so many lives out there. With the marking. So if you're out there and that was your idea, that was fantastic. That has saved me so many times.
Usually we save the podcast question of the week till later, but I was just going through some of the responses here. The question of the week this week was, what's the longest you've been lost in the woods for? So Beth wrote in about an hour or two, thankfully. Tara said 9 hours. This guy just wrote in, he said this was before they had GPS, but I remember a 20-hour day in thick timber north of Hinton. Eventually climbed a hill to triangulate, was about 25 kilometers off course.
Wow.
Yeah. And then, this guy was lost. He was 5K off course. This guy was 20 minutes or so lost. 2 hours. What's the longest you've been lost in the...
I don't like the
Not
word...
by choice.
I don't like the word lost. I like disoriented. Feels a little less dramatic. Just a few hours. And for me, hunting, it's happened twice now, hunting snowshoe hares, and there's a reason for it. Because if you're looking to shoot rabbits in the bush, you're going for the thickest bush possible. So you're not landmarking. There's no mountains in the distance or anything. You're just imagine pushing bush, thick. That's where the bunnies are. And it happened to me a few years ago. I was in the snow all by myself, the shotgun. I wanted to come back with a couple of rabbits, and I'm out all afternoon, and suddenly in the middle of nowhere, I see these human tracks in the snow. And I'm like,
Someone
hell?
else is hunting.
Somebody else who would be hunting out here, and I could see, well, they're made by a man, looks like size 11 and a half.
Wearing
and,
my same boots.
yeah, and I looked down and I'm like, I just did a complete circle
Yeah.
in the bush, and it was a sickening feeling actually, because in my mind I was somewhere very different.
Yeah.
And I had done a complete loop. And luckily I was able to find my way out, and you can always backtrack in the snow, but it can happen, man. You can do a circle in the bush pretty easy.
Yeah. How about you, Dave?
Probably like 45 minutes. So we had a call up north, Highway 40 North. A gentleman shot an elk, got himself lost. Family members called him in who were hunting with him. We go out, and of course the woods is all trampled. So a colleague and I went out, and we kind of tried to triangulate based off where the shots were, where the dead elk was, where he would go.
Yeah.
So we looked for any tracks that went off the line, and it was actually sheer luck because I was starting to get worried about where we were in relation to where our cruisers were. But thankfully, I ended up finding a set of tracks that went off down a hill, and I'm like, I think this is our boy. And he did the great thing, which is to hunker down and make a fire. So I went down the ridge over the next hill, and that's where he was.
Yeah.
He was having a fire. He had a nice little smoke fire. You couldn't see it from where we were originally, like where the family members were looking for him. But thankfully, finding that trail, then it was pretty easy to come back because we had kind of pounded out, had a general idea of where the cruisers were. But nowadays, I would just throw the drone up, and because we have drones for SAR, but we also have drones for the RCMP.
Okay.
So I wear both hats there, and I probably just throw the drone up. And what's really nice is a fire is really, really hot, so it just pops on the forward-looking infrared, or FLIR for short.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Well,
At night,
tell us
really
about
good.
the drones, because that's a total game changer. Like, how effective are they? And can they find, let's say, a 5-year-old kid is lost in the bush? Would the heat sensing capability pick that profile up in trees?
It certainly does. Incredibly effective, more so at night than during the day. It's really tough. You really need to train your eye to the different color profiles, so you can make white is hot, black is hot, tint, which is kind of like a red, and black and white. And hot iron is probably the three that we use the most, or four we use the most. Hot iron is a green background, and anything that's hot is red. During the day, the trees take up an incredible amount of sun, so it's not uncommon to see the treetops at 50 degrees Celsius, which, if you're looking, the average human is emitting a heat profile of anywhere between 11 and 14 and a half, depending, of course, if they're running, if they're running away, or if they're stable, or if they're laying down, or if they've been resting for a couple hours. They might be a little bit cooler, a little bit warmer, depending. So you really have to train your eye. So it's good to be able to try to get it up and often in the air, just to try to train your eye on that. But at night, fantastic. It's really good. We jokingly call the RPAS unit or division in Hinton SAR kind of like the Nighthawks. We would definitely work at night, way more effective. And you're looking for those heat profiles that are easier to tell and differentiate from, like the foliage and tree trunks and that sort of thing.
And how are you telling that from, there's so many deer and elk and moose and bears and wolves and coyotes? Like, there's so much stuff out there that could confuse
believe it
you.
or not, like the animals are a lot hotter. The average deer 25, seen elk as high as 42, 46.
Wow.
I've yet to see a mountain lion or a bear, so I'm not sure how warm they are, but we have a lot of elk sitting by West Fraser's Mill. So like, I've been down there looking for an individual not far off the mill, and you can kind of see them in Mary Reimer Park. And so I was like, I wonder how hot this elk that's laying down and bedded down are. And you're like, 42 degrees Celsius. Holy jumping, that's hot. So I'm sure it would be, of course, cooler in the winter months than they are. It was kind of like dusk, so like 6 o'clock, kind of like weather today, about 24 degrees Celsius outside. So, I'd be curious to see if I were to get a temperature range on that same elk in the same location, but fast forward till like December, I'd be curious to see what they would be registering at. Definitely, probably the same, maybe.
Okay.
Because they're quite hairy and whatnot. So, but yeah, fantastic. And then you have different sizes too. So we have the DJI Mavic 3, which is a pretty good bird. It has 54 times zoom on the color side, and then I think it's 20 on the FLIR. And we have the Matrice, which is the big brother to it. So just a bigger airframe. You can hot swap the batteries. You can go in 10 degrees colder temperature, so you're minus 20 instead of minus 10, and you can go in 10 degrees warmer temperature, so you go from plus 40 to plus 50. It can handle much higher winds. You're up to like 54-ish kilometers an hour, which is pretty impressive. We have lots of those kinds of high
Big
winds,
gusts,
and like we're not as bad as, let's say, Lethbridge, that just seems to get a ton of wind all the time, or Tabor, just high winds constantly, but it's pretty impressive.
And how far can these drones cruise? Let's say you're in your truck and you're searching an area. Like, are we talking multiple kilometers or?
Yeah, your biggest limitation, believe it or not, Scott, is your antenna. So like you can only push it so far out. You could probably go as far on the Mavic as 3,800 feet. So like 2.4-ish clicks. The Matrice, the bigger bird, has a higher signal. It still uses the 2.4 to 5 gigahertz band. That one you could probably push out to maybe 3.2. But that said, if you were to move, let's say like I jump in your truck, and I'm flying the drone and we're moving down the highway, you could really push them out a long ways. It could technically fly probably a dozen kilometers.
Okay.
You're limited, of course, to your battery, and your battery is affected by cold. It's affected by wind, and it's also affected by how much your input you're putting on for height elevation. So if you're going up or down, and how quickly forward, sideways, or whatnot that you're going. So those are all limitations that you have to consider the mission that you're doing and the terrain that you're in.
Right.
You don't obviously want to crash it into stuff. DJI does do a fantastic job of having obstacle avoidance. So it's got a whole gaggle of sensors on it. It's pretty difficult to crash them. You kind of have to disable them and put it in sport mode, which takes off, I call it the electronic nannies. If you were to do that, then yes, you can definitely ram it into a tree, a house, any kind of things. But you definitely want to make sure that you're kind of away from big cell phone towers with those 5G connections, because that'll start to interfere a little bit with your controller.
Can you talk through them? Like you see someone
there is like speakers that you can attach to them. So like the Mavic 3 has like an additional light. So you can only have one attachment at a time. So you could put like additional searchlights, which of course drains the battery. So you got to kind of play that out. You can put a speaker on top of it and broadcast your voice.
Yeah. We're coming for you.
Do you want to borrow one for your bull elk hunt this fall?
Yeah. Hey, hang out there for a second.
Unfortunately, there's laws against that.
I'm sure. Yeah. Because this is new for you guys too, then, like this drone division?
We've had it for a couple years now.
Okay.
We've definitely seen the uses of it, and it's good to see like the RCMP incorporate a bunch of these drones. So DJI is a really good product. So we're pretty excited to use them, and this stuff is really cutting edge.
Yeah.
There is definitely competitors out there from France and the United States, but in my humble opinion, DJI is definitely head and shoulders above those two.
You ever got people shooting at them?
Thankfully not. No, thankfully not. I know some people definitely, and understandably so, don't want them flying around their houses. You get the odd complaint of someone flying one near their house. Obviously, that's trespassing thing, which we would address on the provincial statute side. But for the most part, people are quite respectful of them and don't fly them where they shouldn't.
Yeah.
So.
Right. Now you work for both RCMP and Search and Rescue, and from what I understand, RCMP kind of takes the lead on these searches anyway. Can you kind of fill in for us and our listeners on that relationship between the RCMP and search and rescue?
Yeah, absolutely. So the RCMP is a tasking agency. So what that essentially means is we have the ability to deploy search and rescue. The conservation officers have the same ability. The town has the same ability. Jasper National Parks, or parks in general, so not just limited to Jasper, but all national parks, those are also a tasking agency. So it's a unique opportunity to kind of be involved in the fold, because if we deploy search and rescue, the RCMP member is going to be an incident commander. So all the decisions, good, bad, or indifferent, kind of land on your head. So that was one of the things that I really wanted to essentially mitigate, is I wanted to be part of search and rescue. I wanted to get these trainings. I wanted to understand the method to the madness and why it is that we're doing what we're doing. And so from there, I was able to take the lost person behavior course from Bob Coster. We brought him in from Montana. Fantastic gentleman. Stayed at the house for 3 days. Really interesting man. Obviously, you just pointed at the book there, Scott. So he wrote a book, for those that don't know. Lost person behavior is kind of like a statistical driven best guess.
That's a full book about lost people?
Yeah, and different profiles, actually, in
Wow.
different profiles.
Yeah.
So they also have an app as well on your phone. So you can kind of
Okay.
condense a lot of that reading into the app, and you kind of have a profile browse wizard where you can kind of put people on, whether it be a lost hunter or someone with dementia. Dementia is actually one of his specialties, ironically. And with aging population, we're probably going to start to see more and more dementia cases. So it's really, really interesting to be able to kind of take that course, the search manager's course, which kind of takes a bunch of the ICS portion of it. So you have ICS 100, 200, 300, and 400. And then you have specialty ICS courses. So incident command system is what it stands for. And Chris Murphy is one of our team members who's a retired staff sergeant in Hinton, and he teaches that course. And he's been instrumental in kind of pushing that ICS in the RCMP world, but we still believe in bronze, silver, and gold command, which is kind of similar, but the advantage of the ICS structure, especially for those that are listening that have any experience with wildfires, ICS allows you to kind of contract and expand at a moment's notice, and it's really effective at doing that.
Yeah.
So it's a great approach to be able to take a small search that started small, and all of a sudden, you got much bigger area to cover, or you have a whole lot more resources coming in. You're kind of utilizing that ICS structure to effectively deploy those resources in an effective way.
Yeah.
And so then, of course, you got the SAR Basics, which is your basics course. This is something that Scott would absolutely laugh at with the knowledge that you have. But it's just basic fundamentals, right? Building a shelter, compassing, how to read a map. And then you kind of just build upon those skill sets with additional training, like tracking, for example, where you start to get into reading the terrain and some of the clues that are out there. And you kind of take all of that in and apply all that knowledge, and I end up I kind of pigeonhole myself. I'm always in the command post, not only because I'm the IC, but I just end up knowing a whole pile of different things with lost person behavior and ICS. So I kind of just don't get to go in the field very much, and don't do all the fun things that some of the other team members do. But it's an important step, and that's what we're doing with the mock search next weekend, is try to build some of those contacts with the RCMP and kind of give RCMP, because we technically have policy that states that an RCMP member has to not only be the IC, the incident commander, but has to be a search manager.
Right.
And so we don't have a ton of those, kind of. Yeah. So it's good to be able to kind of, those that do have the course and those that are coming this weekend do have it, to kind of get them comfortable with working with those SAR teams, working with those partner agencies, and just kind of building that up.
Well, and from our perspective, it's interesting that you say that, because I've been working in the field of outdoor stuff for over 30 years, and everywhere you go, it's like, call the RCMP, they will take charge, you're under their authority, and there's sort of this sigh of relief in the room, because everyone's like, oh, they're the experts, they'll got this figured out. But that puts a lot of pressure on your team to actually be able to do that and to stick handle, whether it's a lost child, a lost hunter, or an injured person. But yeah, from a layman's terms, everyone knows the RCMP is going to take care of it, right?
But it's also good to kind of work together. At the end of the day, like the SAR team members are kind of the subject matter experts. They've done it for long. They've been on the team for 12, 20 years. And unfortunately, a lot of the RCMP members, we used to have to move around a lot. That's not so much a problem anymore. We can kind of stay in an area. But I always call it the parallel highway. So the investigation and the search are going down the highway together, and they're constantly feeding information to each other. Because otherwise, if you didn't speak to each other, then that would essentially render a lot of it useless, because there might be some information from the investigation, let's say some CCTV, so closed circuit television system, or TVs that would essentially showcase our lost person in a different area. So is it effective to continue to search what we thought was effective an hour ago, but now as of right this second, we just got video that this person is now in this area? Like, it's one of those things where you're going down the highway together, and it's a great partnership to have, and it's a great opportunity to bring like-minded people together and kind of work on some stuff and just have some fun. And it's been really effective. Like I call it, you check your ego at the door, and then you end up in a position where people are happy to see you. They go, they don't go from, oh man, I don't really like this guy or whatnot, or I don't have a whole lot of faith in the RCMP, but all of a sudden they see you walk through the door, be like, I've worked with Dower 2 or 3 searches or 5 searches or et cetera, and I really enjoy the banter back and forth and brainstorming together and figuring out where we're going to send people and why, and a lot of it's utilizing lost person behavior statistics to make up those rings. And CalTopo is a fantastic mapping software that SAR Alberta has purchased and licensed, and it allows us to essentially drop pins, take pictures, draw rings, like those percentage rings, so the 25%, the 50%, the 95%, and then of course what they call the rest of the world, which means they could be anywhere.
Right.
It's good for that visual person to be like, okay, we need you here, you're here. Be like, okay, I just need to go my bearing 25 degrees west or whatever, I don't know, just pick something. And they can see that on a map. We can see that in the command post. So now all of a sudden they're reporting back, we found the casualty, they got a broken left leg. Well, based off where they are, can we get SARs to land there? Yes, no, maybe not. Can we get off-highway vehicles in there? Is it something that we're going to have to hand bomb them? What kind of resources? And it's really interesting to be able to kind of see that in real time, because it updates off of cell phone towers. So it just uses the data. It will kill your battery pretty quickly. That's the only con. But a lot of team members have just brought additional external batteries to plug their phones in. Fantastically effective thereafter.
Yeah.
I want to dig into survival kits too, Scott. You mentioned this, like, I've been putting together a backpack, like a hiking backpack. So I got fire start and stuff. What do you have any recommendations for things that people like heading out into?
Man, that's such a loaded question. Honestly, you could have like a 2-hour discussion on that gear, because gear is expensive and people love their gear and their kit, clothing.
Let's say even for you personally though, because I mean you spend a lot of time quadding and hiking and stuff. What do you have with you at all times?
Yeah, so definitely a knife. Knife, fire starting stuff that, at the very very least.
Top two. Always the top two.
If you could have at least something, it's better than nothing. It's better than having packed nothing at all. So first aid kit, fantastic. Compass, some general maps, awesome. Change of clothes. It sounds redundant, but if you get wet, it's nice to be able to put something dry. Any kind of waterproof pants and coat. So like we have like splash pants that are issued. That's in my kit that I take with me a lot. We have some really nice coats that are quite good. So definitely pack that. Trying to think of what else off the top of my head. You could have, of course, water and food. Those you can't go wrong with that. Even just like simple things like protein bars, chocolate bars, anything that'll kind of sustain you for a little bit. Like mixed nuts is a really popular one, like trail mix as it's also referred to. Not a bad idea to have like a water bladder if you can hack it, or even just a bottle of water is better than no water at all. Because some of the water, you can drink it, but other times you might get sick. So you kind of have to really pick and choose what water source you're going to tap into. And, how much weight do you want to carry? Because that's also a detriment
That's the
as
other
well.
thing too. My backpack's
right? So there's a
only so
really,
big.
really tight. There's a kind of like a Goldilocks in there too, where you really have to ask yourself what you're going to be doing, and kind of try your best to custom tailor your approach. To that task.
Yeah. It's funny because I have two different survival kits. I've got the large kit, which is kind of like the end of the world is nigh. I'll grab that thing and I should be able to live off the land indefinitely. But the truth is, I never take it with me. It weighs as much as a brick, and I just don't want the weight of a brick. But I have a little one in a tin of what are those breath mints called? Anyway, you can buy these little
Mentos.
What's that?
The Mentos ones?
Yeah. You can still get these tins, and in there I've got mini Bic lighter, a mini lock blade knife, some cordage, some water tablets, purification tablets, some Band-Aids, some ibuprofen, some fish hooks, some line, and that all fits in my pocket. And that I will take hunting. And they always say, put it on your pants, because your pants are the last thing you're going to lose in the bush. So if you lost your pants, you know something's really gone wrong.
Trouble,
But I was going to ask you, what are some of the most common mistakes people make when they get lost or injured in the Hinton area, like specific to sort of the Northern Rockies? What do you see?
I think a lot of people, and I'll just use an example that was like a 3 people that were lost on a UTV after we spoke to them and located them. They left from the Brule area and were way up by Rock Lake, and it was just kind of a pride thing. They felt like, oh, if we continue following this creek, we'll meander our way. And then they ran out of gas, and then they're like, so had they just kind of hunkered down a little bit, it would have been easier to locate them. So I'd say a lot of people just kind of stay on the move and just get further lost, or sometimes open themselves up to great fatigue and maybe even push themselves into an area where there's a lot of wildlife that could definitely hurt, maim you, or kill you.
And on the similar lines, if you could bust a myth or two about search and rescue, what comes to mind? Things that people think are true but aren't true.
Oh boy, that's a great question. I'm not really sure of any myths per se. I think the thing to remember with SARs, I don't think I've ever met a more dedicated group of individuals. I'll give you an example. This year we had our mock disaster response. It was a wildfire. There was 72 people that showed up.
That was for the town, hey?
Exactly. The town wildfire. It was a simulated evacuation. There was people that were lost and people that were injured, and people came on their own. They weren't paid to do that. They didn't get per diems. They didn't get mileage. That's the dedication that I'm referring to with regards to SAR Alberta. There's just a drive that I've never seen matched, especially from individuals who are not paid. You could have someone rival them, like on a Coast Guard level, and be like, yeah, but you're also paid $100,000+ a year.
Right.
So you're going to get up early. Yeah, you're going to drop everything you're doing, and you're going to come out. And you're going to be essentially willing to take that, apply that training that you've got on various calls. But hard pressed to do that when you're hard pressed to compare them to team members from SAR teams. And this is probably coast to coast. I don't think it's an Alberta thing only. I would say that there's the same thing out east in Newfoundland and all the way out west in British Columbia and everything in between. And of course the territories as well. So I think that would probably be maybe a myth, is that people think they're just there for the t-shirt.
Right.
But and when the sweet jacket.
Yeah, the sweet jacket or the discounts. That might be another myth, that people are just there for the so-called swag and whatnot, and the prestige of being with a SAR team or with fire or with what have you. So I think that would probably be the thing that.
Are you guys looking for people? Or are you guys full now? Like, how does that work?
Well, we have 52 team members now, so that's a lot.
That is,
We're trying to recruit really driven individuals. So currently our focus is to kind of lean out a little bit.
Like specialized skills and stuff then? Or?
Well, we're going to start off by leaning out the core group. So the goal is, and every SAR team struggles with this, how do you get them out? right? How do you constantly get them to show up for training? So we have kind of came up with a plan, which is 3 trainings per year in any discipline. So that whether that be mounted, ground search and rescue, or drone, or soon to be off-highway vehicle, because that one just got off the ground recently. And it's just kind of an incentive, like, look, if you can't make this minimum requirement, then you're just going to be off the team. And that's going to move up a lot of space for those that just genuinely do want to show up.
Yeah.
And of course be on the team. So we moved from an open recruiting to twice a year. So we have 3 SAR basics instructors, and we're custom tailoring it so that as soon as they get through the spring and the fall training, like the recruitment drives, they're going right into SAR basics so that they can be immediately into operational team members versus members in training, because that's one of the things they need to have. They always bring, of course, their first aid and whatnot. The ICS 100 is technically another thing, but SAR basics is a big one, and this is just for insurance purposes. So
I've got some would you rather questions, George.
I got one down.
Okay. Why don't you give us yours first?
All right. So you're trapped on a boat in the river. You're lost.
This is sounding personal already.
Yeah.
Would you rather be on the boat with your worst enemy, but they have some great survival skills, or your buddy, but they have no survival skills?
I'm going buddy.
Yeah.
I would agree with Scott. I think at least I could palette somebody that I actually get along with.
Yeah.
And you can kind of coach them through it, or talk through some problems. I think if you're their worst enemy, you might not even want to look at the person. And you might even want to throw them overboard per se. So, or they might want to turn and throw you overboard. So that probably wouldn't be any good either.
Well, you need cooperation, right? In times of crisis, you need to have each other's back. That trust is so key. And
Agreed.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, well, that one was too easy then.
That was too easy. I got 4 of them here.
Holy jumping 4 of them. All right.
Let's give them. So would you rather run out of gas on your OHV 100 kilometers from the nearest highway in summer, 100K from the highway, or have to snowshoe 10 kilometers in a blizzard?
Oh.
So you're doing 100K, but it's summertime.
Yeah.
Or you're doing 10K in a blizzard.
That's a good one, Scott. I think I would probably have to go with the blizzard just because of the distance.
Yeah.
You can get hypothermic for sure.
Yeah.
And depending on how it is that you're dressed, which is obviously a concern. You'd also get heat stroke on the flip side of that scenario. So you're kind of looking at the sun getting beaten down on you, and 100 clicks from the highway is a long ways. And if you ran out of gas and there's not if you're down, by the sand dunes, you're going to run into somebody, but probably the shorter distance, hopefully you're equipped for the weather. It seemed more manageable. What do you think?
I don't know. Let's go, George.
I think I want to go 100K.
Going on.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think. Yeah, I'm doing that. Because, like you say, I'll run into another quadder out there, probably. Or I'll just get a nice 100-kilometer walk in, Death race just happened. Those guys did
there you
120
go.
kids. They made it look easy.
48 hours. Yeah. There goes George. That's a tough one, right? As you said, the summer doesn't come without its dangers, whether it's heat or in currently it's been all this rain. Like you can get hypothermia in the middle of August here. What I found though, snowshoeing is it's kind of like 4-1. I find 10K on snowshoes is like 40K. Just the amount of time and effort. We take it for granted how easy it is to walk in hiking boots compared to slogging through deep powder and snowshoes. But not an easy one. Okay, here we go. We'll start with Dave on this one. Would you rather lead an ice rescue or lead a cliff rescue?
Oh, it would have to be the ice.
Yeah.
And the reason being is I don't love heights. I'm not a heights guy, so I definitely would have a hard time with the high angle stuff, like going off a rock face. Nope. No, thanks. I don't want to do that. So that would probably be my pick.
Yeah. And yet you guys have branched into the high rope stuff now as well, eh?
Hinton SAR hasn't, no.
Okay.
It's a really expensive thing to do. The ropes have an expiry date. They have a load rating date or load rating amount. Sorry. And if you're using them excessively, if you're not storing them correctly, if they get any water on them, they have to be dried correctly. There's a lot of technicalities that could render your ropes a bit of a liability. So it's not uncommon for teams to have to spend big money on big purchases for ropes, harnesses, turnbuckles. Like for example, I'll just use Grant Cash. They spent $10,000 on a big tripod designed for people to be able to be rappelling off of a high angle rock, which is impressive. Personally, I'm like, oh, that's great, but wow, that's a lot of money.
Yeah,
$10,000 for just one piece of equipment. At the end of the day, that's not the ropes. That's not any of the harnesses or even the training.
Yeah,
which. Man, the training is if you don't use it, you lose it.
No,
right?
you got to be comfortable with it. It's like using firearms. Like you don't want to use it the first time when there's a rescue, right?
Absolutely. And you want to make sure that you've done it enough so that when you do get deployed, you're an asset, not a liability.
Totally.
And and your stuff's not like expired or breaks or whatnot. That's not the great time to be tumbling down the cliffside. So
how about you, George? Are you going leading an ice rescue or cliff rescue?
I mean, I'm kind of the same with Dave. I'm not like great with heights. I'd probably go ice rescue, I think.
Yeah.
I can toss that little bag with the rope in it pretty far.
Shout encouraging words.
Yeah.
Stay afloat. Cool.
What are you going with? Yeah, I mean, you got experience
I've
lots of climbing.
I've done both, and I've done a lot of climbing, but I think I'm with you guys. Like gravity, I always say to my kids, because my boys especially are daredevils in the mountains, and gravity never sleeps. Like a grizzly bear could have mercy. You might find a little mercy in the river or ice flow, but gravity is 100% pulling you down.
Oh yeah.
And so if you do your knots wrong or your load share or your bad gear, you're toast, right? Falls are really, really significant. But
are there drones out there that can haul a person? Is that technology available yet?
Well, not yet. But you can get some decent like payload ones.
Yeah.
But they're meant for like, I don't know, 40, 50 pounds.
Okay.
And they're the size of like your garage. Like maybe not quite that big, but like their footprint is massive.
Yeah.
It looks like a baby helicopter.
Yeah, you might be using a helicopter.
Yeah,
right?
but a helicopter, of course, can.
Yeah.
Yes. Like, for example, Rocky Mountain House. They specialize in long lining individuals. So, like, big harness, they come up, put a harness on you, George, and then they clip you to it, and then you're gone with a helicopter. And I hope you don't look down, buddy. If you and me are both scared of heights, I would
close
be
your
looking
eyes
up at the helicopter and looking up at the sky and hoping to be like, oh, I really hope we don't hit anything or you like hang too low towards some trees. You'd be like, oh, I think we're gonna careen with that pine tree in 3, 2, 1, smash.
Yeah. All right. Would you, George? I'm starting with you on this one. Would you rather face an aggressive black bear or an aggressive mountain lion? We always have a bear question.
Black bear. Yeah.
Mountain lion is
just a little too like fast. I feel like a mountain lion just like pounce on me, done. Where a bear, like, I think he might we could throw down a little bit and
you can take him.
Yeah, I'm not sure I could take him, but I just feel like a mountain lion, if I smacked him, he'd be angry, and a bear might be a little more like, hey man, okay, I'll walk away.
Okay, how about you, Dave?
Great question.
I didn't ask Grizz because that's a different game, but
Yeah.
black bear versus aggressive mountain lion.
Well, the mountain lion is just two ways to look at it. Either you don't see it and it pounces on you and kills you, and goes for that neck bite. If you do see it, I'd like to think that it would just be able to be scared off. A bear, it's kind of more of a 50-50. Like you can, essentially make yourself big and whatnot and slowly back away, and usually they kind of go the other way. But I think I probably would go with mountain lion.
Yeah. How do you defend against a black bear?
Well, hopefully you got bear spray.
No bear spray.
Morse Kahansky, who was the guru of bushcraft, he talked about building a bear bat if you don't have bear spray. And essentially it was like a baseball bat.
Yeah.
And he said that's what he would do in bear country if you don't have bear spray, and you're swinging it at the bear. Make yourself big, aggressive for both of these critters, but they're just so strong. And when both, actually, if black bears attack, it's usually predatory versus grizz. And mountain lion is almost always predatory as well. So they're trying to eat you. You just want to make sure they know you're not prey. You're big, you're strong, you're loud.
Yeah. I feel like we talked about this on the last podcast where like a mountain lion, if they kind of got you dialed in, like, they're coming for you no matter what's around, they're like, okay, this is my prey today.
Actually, both. Once they sort of claim you, I know it sounds horrific, but if they've claimed you as meat, it's hard to get those buggers off.
Yeah.
You really have to beat them off or have a firearm.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going black bear. Yeah.
All right. Okay. My last would you rather. Would you rather spend a survival week in the rain, like it's 7 days of rain, or a week of snow? Dave, I'm starting with you.
I think I'd probably go snow, because snow is a really good isolator, so you can build yourself some pretty clever shelters. Of course, don't get too crazy because it collapses on you, then you're
Been there, done that.
really hooped. But if you do it correctly and if you have some knowledge and some skill, I think the snow is definitely bearable. The rain would be very difficult because once it's raining and once you're wet, it's and if it continues to rain, it can be quite difficult to get out of it. Yes, you can build shelters, and provided, of course, you have the supplies. But if you have nothing, you can probably get creative with the snow.
Yeah. How about you, George?
I have my can of Mentos with me with my fishing line knife in there. I probably would go snow too, because a week of straight rain, you're just soggy, and even when you get a fire going, it's just you're never really drying out.
Yeah.
I'm going snow.
Yeah, I'm with you guys on that. And if it's cold enough, snow can actually be quite dry. You can have really dry conditions in the snow, but the rain just gets into the bones.
When we're talking OHV division, and like just speaking of snow, are you guys like snowmobiles too? Is that part of the fleet or?
Not yet. We're, as a non-for-profit, it's quite difficult to essentially get funding. So you're writing grants, or you're approaching businesses like Mondi and Pembina, amongst others, to get some funding to be able to purchase assets. Or if you're really lucky, we got West Fraser donate us a 2018 Honda 500.
Oh, nice.
Rubicon. So that was kind of like our step one to getting on off-highway vehicle division. Most of our team members do have off-highway vehicles, whether it be UTVs or side-by-sides, which they're the one and the same. And then ATVs, of course, are quads, as they're also referred to. Those are two. Like, our next big asset would be trying to get a side-by-side or a UTV, whether it be essentially writing some grants for it, getting SAR Alberta to assist us with a equipment grant that they do once a year. They kind of do a run, and you basically apply and put your big rationale on what it is that you're asking for and how much you're asking for, and they usually have a cap anywhere between 15 and 22,000. So it all comes down to how well the province is doing and how much they invest in SAR Alberta. So then SAR Alberta turns around and invests back in the teams. So the off-highway vehicles, like, I'm an instructor for Alberta Safety Council, so I have the ATV UTV instructor course. So I'll be kind of doing that's kind of the goal, is to push that out to our SAR team members at no cost, of course, and kind of grow that division. It's something that I'm really passionate about. I really enjoy being out on the backcountry, and there's so many nice trails, so many nice areas in Hinton and the surrounding area, whether it be the sand dunes. Last weekend I was in Ruby Falls, so I was camping in Cadomin, kind of did the Cardinal Divide, which I know both of you are well familiar with.
We just got a bunch of butterflies up there.
Yeah, which is impressive. I thought you're going to tell me that you caught 10, but to see that you got 100.
We're professionals, Dave.
Yeah, I know. You guys are really good at it. I would have never guessed that there's that many butterflies in that area.
Next year, Dave. Next year. Bring out the RCMP for that one. But I wanted to maybe get a little heavier here before we wrap up. and maybe this is more RCMP than search and rescue, but so often I think people have this idea: search and rescue. I'm gonna find that lost hunter or skier, and everyone's gonna go home, have hot chocolate, and everyone's happy. But some of these situations are more traumatic, more difficult: body recoveries, suicides, homicides, lost children. And dealing with trauma, and we hear so much about PTSD these days, especially with people working with emergency services. Like, do you get search and rescue involved with some of these more nefarious things? And how do you deal with that sort of challenge out there?
Yeah, that's a great question. So depending on what it is, like if it's in a murder investigation, to your point, we probably have like police officers do it. So I'm part of a division within the RCMP called TSG, or Tactical Support Group. It used to be called STO, Special Tactical Operations. We call ourselves Fat ERT. So it's just a joke about how the ERTlings are the ones that repel and then do all the fancy firearm stuff. And then there's the Fat ERT, the guys with the shields, and do like public order. But we're also trained as searchers. Like for example, the G7 TSG when did a whole pile of searches for IEDs, so improvised explosive devices. So you're kind of doing some sweeps per se of hotel rooms, routes, vehicles, etc. So TSG's brought in a lot for those kinds of investigations where we don't really want to necessarily bring in civilian search and rescue, but civilian SARs has been brought out for evidence searches for things like let's say like firearms, things that have been discarded, clothing, that sort of stuff. And I think that we're very fortunate in Hinton. We have a CISM team, which is kind of like that critical incident debrief. So that's a big thing. And we're also really fortunate because we actually have a registered psychologist on the team. So Francine's amazing, really awesome to be able to have a feather in a cap for that. Very few SAR teams have that on their roster, so to speak. So when we do have those difficult calls, like a suicide or a person who is found deceased, we have steps in place to make sure we look after our SAR team members, have those critical incident debriefs, have those follow-ups with psychologists, and make sure that they're checked in on regularly, so that any effects can be mitigated versus turning to, let's say, the bottle. Or worse yet, taking their own life. So it's definitely a way of trying to mitigate some of that trauma the best you can. Because let's face it, there's still a task to do, and sometimes you're the only resource that can do it per se. So it's just how do you mitigate that, and that's how we would do so.
Yeah. No, I think it's fantastic the work you guys do, and it's good for us to know who are out there. Hey, there might be someone who might try to find us. Right, George?
Hinton Search and Rescue's got their own Facebook group. You got your own website, hsar.ca. What skills are you looking like for people to have that like maybe you're like want to apply for the next application process you're going into? Like,
that's a good question. I think ultimately everyone's got a skill set, regardless of how you think you might look down on yourself. I don't really have the qualifications. You do. At the very least, you want to have a first aid level C. Pretty much everyone has that through work. And we have a diverse list of team members that have all walks of life, everything from, they're 21 years old and just starting out in their careers in, let's say, like a biologist, everything up to a team member who's been here for the last 50 years and is really experienced in bushcraft and is a really good horse rider. And we have individuals who are mechanics, who are really inclined with their social workers, psychologists in the emergency field. Like there's no discrimination of any kind for what you have. Like for you guys both know Dave Moselle. He's the brewmaster at Folding Mountain Brewery, and
it's a good skill to have.
He approached me and he's like, "I'd love to join search and rescue, but I don't think I have what it takes." And I joked with Dave and I said, "Are you kidding me? You're a great hunter. You go out a fair bit. You have a high drive. You're interested in a lot of different things." So he joined up the team, and Dave is pretty much spearheaded our past division with Bill Dunn, and the two of them are probably two of our best our past pilots on the team. They're always working together. They're kind of like father and son. It's kind of funny to watch them go, but I use that as an example to showcase just because you doubt yourself that you don't have what it takes, and in fact you do. We want to have people who want to be there and who really are interested and passionate about it, and everyone has something to contribute regardless of what you might think of yourself or what others think of you. Mm-hmm. So if you're interested in it, we're probably going to have a recruitment drive this fall. Definitely reach out to Tori as our director of membership at membership@hsar.ca. Send her a quick email. That same email address is on our website, and she can fill you in with fill in any questions you might have. And if you want to reach out to me at president@hsar.ca, more than happy to answer questions or whatnot. And yeah, we definitely try to encourage people to come out and have some fun. We're a pretty welcoming group.
Yeah.
And we have all kinds of age groups. So it's not necessarily that we're super old or super young or anything between. Like, we have all walks of life, and that's what makes a good think tank, is having people with diverse backgrounds.
How did that training in Hinton go? Are we prepared if a fire comes, or?
It went really well, actually. Yeah. There, of course, there's like anything else. There's always teaching points. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing is ever 100% perfect, but in so saying, it was quite good.
Yeah.
Even the representatives from AEMA that were present were pleasantly surprised at how well it went, and how people were really engaged in the upstairs of the fire hall with the ECC, and how SAR was doing and the RCMP was helping out, and how fire was tackling the fire.
Yeah.
Tackling the fire. Yeah. Setting up their wet lines, and how it is that we're doing the evacuations. What's really impressive is being able to have that real-time information. With CalTopo, you can put certain colors on different addresses, and you can mark notes, right? Oh, it's vacant. Oh, these 3 people have their ages 27, 10, and 8, and they're leaving now, or they're leaving in 2 hours, or what have you. And it allows that information to be gathered, or you can mark that red and say, I'm not leaving, and this is their phone number, and this is their name. So it's great to be able to kind of have that captured, per se, so that no one's really left behind.
We were garage selling. The wife works for the town, so we were garage selling, and she got the call. She had to go in and spend a couple hours doing something there in the room. Yeah, she said it seemed smooth. It was chaotic, but
it is. It's organized chaos, right? At the end of the day, we tried to ramp it up, per se, of as much as we could. Of course, it is at the end of the day a scenario. You can't really have 200-foot actual flames coming bearing down on the town that you could see from the fire hall, per se. But it was good. I appreciated everyone treated it like a real life incident, and took it seriously, and took their role seriously, and just had a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah.
And
well, it really does seem to be the biggest looming threat for this community is a serious wildfire. So I'm so glad that people are taking that seriously and putting plans in place.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, it's not a question of if, it's when, something's going to hit. We got so much mature forest around us here.
If someone can't, like, maybe they just doesn't have the time commitment to, like, join the team or, apply, how else can people help you guys out? Like, is there...
well, they could also like join the team and be non-support members. What that mean, or support members, sorry, not non-support, support members. And what that means is individuals that aren't necessarily in the field, but they, let's say, run and get the team coffee, or charge up batteries, or make sure the generator's filled up, or go to get cases of water. Like, I'm oversimplifying it. There's obviously better things as well, or more complicated things than just that. But they could do that. We come out to our fundraising events. So this weekend we have the Chamber of Commerce golf tournament. So there's a 50-50 that's on Rafflebox. So we shared the link to that. That the proceeds from that event are being split between Hinton Search and Rescue and the Hinton Food Bank, which are 2 fantastic causes in Hinton. So there's that. there's always an opportunity to. We had a fundraiser for the WestJet, 2 flights anywhere they fly, so that one was quite well received. We made a fair bit of money off of that.
I didn't win.
I know. It's unfortunate. But we have different fundraisers that we kind of try our best to raise as much funds as possible. And we turn around and utilize those funds, either in equipment or training or both. Or sometimes it's something as silly as insurance costs. Because insurance on the trailers and the command posts and the ATV and soon maybe the UTV, if we can get that going, those costs only unfortunately continue to increase, and so it's kind of good to utilize what I call no strings attached cash. The grants are great, but you can't take the grant and put it towards, let's say, insurance costs. You need to go with no strings attached cash. So we've been very fortunate. A director of fundraising has done a great job to bring up the team. Like, I think Tori has raised at least $130,000.
Wow,
probably a bit more than that. She single-handedly, through the Red Cross, was able to start the RPAS division and the Mounted Search and Rescue, so MSAR for short. We utilized, there was $72,000 for that. There was another, I think it was $90,000 for the disaster response. So that was part of that ICS courses that we put on for the town, and SAR and fire and RCMP got to benefit from that. We took a lot of those funds for that event. So we've been pretty successful with the Red Cross grants, but we've also enjoyed a lot of generosity from local business in Hinton. We're incredibly humbled by that, and grateful, of course. So
well, the 20 years I've been here, I've never seen search and rescue thriving quite as much as it is now. So kudos to you guys, the leadership. There seems to be some real wind in your sails, real interest from the public. So that's awesome to see.
Yeah. Well, thanks for doing what you do. I mean, it's gives us a little bit of more. I don't know if it's incentive, but when we're out in the backcountry, at least we know there's a backup plan.
Yeah, we don't cost a lot. We don't cost a lot of money at all.
Yeah.
It's everything's billed to the province, so it's not billed to the person.
Yeah.
So like if you're ever lost or injured or whatnot, don't hesitate to call.
Yeah.
It doesn't, just so we're clear, it doesn't go to Hinton SAR. It goes to the RCMP, and the RCMP tasks Hinton SAR.
Right. Yeah.
Don't call Hinton SAR directly, because unfortunately we can't self-deploy. We have to be deployed from a tasking agency. So, but we've done all kinds of different tasks, from helping Edson when they evacuated, not once but twice, to Hinton. We helped out with the at the rec center, and kind of helped out with meals. We helped out with accommodations and getting people kind of settled the best we can, of course, because they've been displaced. We've also assisted in Jasper, the same thing. Went out, did a bunch of door knocking out there.
Okay, yeah.
Help evacuation. They did some hotspot patrols with the drone, so it's kind of cool. At night, we would go out to Jasper and volunteer with RCMP RPAS pilots, and the idea was to find hotspots to radio the firefighters to put those hotspots out before they became bigger problems or bigger fires.
Yeah.
So that was wildly effective.
Cool.
And then we, delivering food to those that are on checkpoints. So that was, we're very diverse. Yes, we do searches. Yes, we do rescues, but we also do a lot of humanitarian aid kind of thing too. So a lot of us are covered through the SARVAC searcher course, which allows you to be deployed nationally on those kinds of events, whether it be tornadoes or earthquakes. If there's people trapped in buildings, there's some disaster response stuff. So it's a pretty unique, all-encompassing kind of experience that you can kind of really diversify yourself and really have some specialty skills coming out of it. So
sounds really gratifying.
Yeah, I love it. hsar.ca. You can find Hinton Search and Rescue on Facebook too. David, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me.
This is great.
It's great to have you.
Are those new boots, Scott? Are these the...
Can I say this on air?
I think
am
so.
A Canadian ambassador for Zamberlan.
I just saw you show up with those shiny ones.
Had a call with marketing director in San Diego last week, and she's like, we're trying to make inroads. I said, Zamberlan's my favorite boots.
Yeah.
She said, what can I send you? I said, I need a pair of hunting boots. So $550 hunting boots
Wow.
in the mail.
How'd they
Pretty
feel?
good. Oh, awesome.
Yeah. Perfect. Northern Rockies bushcraft. What's the next adventure for you, Scott? You got a...
There's always something. I'm actually getting some time off now, so I'm looking forward to that. Might be heading to BC and
Yeah.
thinking maybe Wells Gray or climbing in Skaha. Little adventure. I ate roadkill lynx last night. Have you ever eaten lynx, either of you?
No.
No.
So I've had mountain lion and coyote and bear, of course, but lynx was interesting. I would say it tastes a bit like a cross between snowshoe hare, which they eat almost exclusively,
Yeah.
and turkey.
Wow.
It wasn't unpleasant. It wasn't overly gamey, but I wouldn't go out of my way to.
Yeah. What's the tips with roadkill?
What's the tips with them? Like how to prepare?
Take the fender off it. And...
Well, this was given to me by somebody. You need a permit still to pick
Yeah.
up roadkill. And this fellow gave me some links because he knew I'm always trying new
okay.
survival meats. But
Yeah.
when in doubt, throw everything in the crock pot. It'll make it tender.
Mm-hmm.
Garlic, butter, salt, and pepper. Can't
Yeah.
go wrong with that.
Wow. First time eating lynx.
Yeah.
Wild. Cool. If you're listening to this podcast, whatever you're listening to on, it's Apple or Spotify, leave us a review. That'd be fantastic. Or get a hold of us, wildernesswave@outlook.com or any of our social channels. Cool. Okay. Well, until next week, stay wild.
Wilderness Wavelength.